let's talk about the Xbox 360 because the marketplace has officially closed. It has been almost 19 years since inception. It has run strong ever since. And yesterday was the official closure of that marketplace. It is a sad day indeed. Louis, you were talking about it. And I pulled a story from our good friends over at xboxera.com. And the lead story written by Genghis. I don't know how to pronounce the name. It's just H. It's a long name. I'm so sorry, Genghis, but listen, great article. I want to use it because it does have a lot of great information. It says this: the Xbox 360's marketplace is now permanently closed, and of course, it will be a fleeting memory soon enough, unfortunately. And it goes on to say, as Microsoft stated back in August of last year, the Xbox 360's marketplace has been shuttered, and as of today, the 29th of July, players who boot up their Xbox 360 will now see just 3 tabs: the main dashboard, your friends, and console settings. Yes, even the movies and TV show tab has gotten the boot, but you can still boot up your media player apps with no problem. Well, it's about as functional as the Xbox 360 storefront was later in the console's lifespan. He goes on to say, I don't really recommend you bother using your 360 for that, especially when you have better options that are available to you. Look, Louis, this is a sad day. It's a day that we knew was actually happening all the way back from August of last year. They have given people ample time to buy collections. As a matter of fact, just for context, I saw a lot of tweets from people, showing lists of games that they bought. One guy actually said that he bought, and I quote, 106 games last night, which is pretty crazy. But if you like your Xbox 360 and you still want a digital library, then why shouldn't you take advantage of a lot of games that were pennies on the dollar, if you will? Let's get your hot take on your thoughts of the closure of game preservation, but more importantly, and I want to have some fun with this, even though this is a sad day, folks, I want to have some fun. What are your fondest Xbox 360 memories?
It's a sad day, Mr. BoomStick, but you know what? It happens. I mean, but what can we expect? I mean, everything has to come to an end. It just does. I mean, I wish Microsoft could just keep it open for as long as it could, but if they just keep it open, I mean, and people are just not sitting there, trying to get more and more games or using it more, because I don't actually know how many are still out there using Xbox 360. I don't know how many people still are using it. There can't be that much, because a lot of people probably evolved from 360 now to the Xbox One, and then after that to the Xbox Series. So yeah, it sucks that they're closing it, but at the end of the day, they got to move forward. I mean, we heard that the Xbox Mobile Store is coming out soon, and which is actually a good thing, because Sarah Bond mentioned it a couple months ago. It's going to be in July. Nearly one more day to July finishes, just one more day. But at the end of the day, though, I mean, damn, it's sad that it has to close. But if they don't move on, I mean, what are they going to do? Because people probably have just left their Xbox 360 or probably move on to another console or to another gen, because, it's time to upgrade from 360. For me, that time is now. Why not? Why not? If you did not like the Xbox One generation, now is the time to do it. Because why? Because look what Microsoft is bringing to the table. They're bringing a lot of awesome stuff. I mean, Xbox is kicking ass right now. We gotta be honest about it. And not only that, with that service, ooh, baby, looking good. And fond memories about my 360. Man, I remember playing my favorite multiplayer, which was Ghost Recon. I think it was Advanced Warfare.
Oh, man, that was a good one, dude. Yeah.
That was a good one. Yes, that's what started me to getting into multiplayer. I remember just putting up that game, heading in there, just having a blast, meet up people online. Let's go shoot. Oh man, that's something I love, and a lot of great single player games too. I mean, I played. Oh man, that's what Assassin's Creed came out, which was pretty amazing. What other games were out there that I just loved from 360? Oh, one of my favorite games was this guy that had a gun that is called, I have to say it because that's the name of the gun. The gun is called Boner, which is true. Such a good game. Not only that, it's actually getting a remake coming about around. I forgot the name of that game, but that game is just hilarious. I love playing that game. Um, what else was fun? Oh man, GTA 6 when it released. And Red Dead Redemption, man. We got one of the best cowboy games out there. That Red Dead Redemption game when it released, it was in 360 era too.
Pretty good stuff right there. Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game. And the rest, I mean, Xbox 360 had one of the best catalogs in gaming, which now the Xbox Series is starting to have it. It's not going to be the same, of course, but the Xbox 360 was one of the best consoles out there. It was always full of games to play, loads of stuff. I mean, I had a lot of fun with that console. But yeah, like I said, time to move on.
I mean, listen, you're not wrong. Again, if you have the discs, you can still play the games. If you have the console and it still works, you can still play the games.
Yep.
Everything that I actually want to play is available through backwards compatible or compatibility. So I could play it on my Series X right now with upres, with HDR, the whole works. I mean, listen, I kept the console and I kept 100 games for a reason. I'm a video game enthusiast. I'm a collector. I've always loved the Xbox 360. I've had just about every special edition. The one that I currently have now in storage is the one that came with the Star Wars, the R2-D2 one, along with the C3PO controller and the White Kinect. I have a tremendous amount of fond memories. I'll give you mine in a hot second, but I want to bring in Jamie Moran for this particular part. We got Infinite Umbra coming in on the back end. Umbra, we'll get to you in a hot second. Jamie, let's get your hot take on the closure of the marketplace. You know, how impactful is this going to be for video game preservation, something that Xbox is known very well for? But for you, what is your favorite memories of the Xbox 360?
Yeah, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think they shouldn't have shut the store down for at least another year. You know, get to the full 20 years. But the amount of people using the store on 360, I can't imagine being very high. You know, the only people that are using 360, in a big capacity, it's multiplayer, and that's like Call of Duty Black Ops, which is backwards compatible. So those games people can still play and buy and stuff. So like, I can't imagine the number being that high. The maintenance cost must have cost more than how much the store was making on the 360 itself. So I get it, I really do, but it's just unfortunate because it is game preservation, it is history, and the 360, if you think about it, it's the first mainstream console to have a video game store like that, and the fact that it's shut down, so it's like that in itself is gaming history, which is a shame. But the 360, it's my favorite console of all time. I have over 100 physical games. I have probably 200 to 300 digital games. It's an incredible console. It was the first console that had a wireless controller as a default option. We had achievements. The store itself was revolutionary at the time because we didn't have like digital video games regularly back then. So and then we had the indie boom. Indie games popped off big time in that generation, to the point where there was a movie based on that. We had a huge variety of games. If people wanted any type of game, there was a game like that being released every week. And then let's look at people's favorite games. Like my favorite game of all time, shocker, Mass Effect. And that was a mind-blowing experience to me, and that was running on a 360, having all these different planets, these more dialogue than some books. It was crazy. And then that was a good generation for sequels. If you got a game 1 year, you were guaranteed pretty much a sequel within 2 or 3 years. Now, if you get a game today, you might get a sequel in 7 years. So it was a different time. And we got 3 Dead Space games, we got 3 Batman games, 3 Mass Effect games, 3 BioShock games. It was an incredible generation. I don't think we'll ever have a generation like that ever again, because again, regular sequels were a thing. We had multiple GTAs a generation back then, like Red Dead Redemption, one of a kind, cowboy game back then. There was nothing like it. Call of Duty popped off, and like back then, I like when Call of Duty when it was its peak with Modern Warfare all the way through Black Ops 2. Like I was playing Call of Duty every single night. That multiplayer was amazing. And bear in mind, back then we were playing Call of Duty without microtransactions. Like there
Can you
was no
imagine?
skins. Yeah,
All you were required to buy is the map packs back then.
yeah. Like, and by the way, it's a bit controversial when I say this. I think multiplayer was better when we were paying for maps, but that's a story for another day. Just that we had these games pushing the console to its limits, and like looking back, like we don't have that now to that level. Battlefield 3 was leagues ahead of Call of Duty when it came to graphics. Halo 4 looked like it was running on a different console compared to Halo 3.
Absolutely.
GTA 5 looked like it was running on a different console. And like, look at Oblivion. Oblivion is, in my opinion, one of the best games of all time. However, it is night and day when you go to the open world from Oblivion to Skyrim. Skyrim is leagues better when it comes to visuals. And it was just a great console. I don't think people realize like how important the 360 was. Like I said before, the achievements and just a wireless controller. Like that was a new thing back then to have regularly. Before then, you had to buy a special adapter, and it didn't always work. And this was a standard thing, I think the Xbox 360. It's an important console because if it wasn't for that, like if Xbox wasn't around, we probably wouldn't have modern game stores on consoles the way they are today. So it's just really unfortunate the store shut down. I bought I think 12 or 13 games before the store shut down. Rise of the Tomb Raider, a lot of people didn't even know this came to 360. In fact, I bought it because one, it still looks and plays great, and two, I think that was the last major AAA release on the 360. So, like that in itself is gaming history. It's a shame the store shut down, but at least people can still buy and play over 600 360 games on their modern Xboxes. People can still buy the DLC. For those games, and those games will live on. It's just a sad day.
Xbox 360 closure, and your fondest memories. What comes to mind immediately for you?
So a few things. Let me see. Well, I heard you guys mention some, and a few things. I'll mention one that I guess it's a memory. I don't know if it was fun though, but I had that red ring of death 7 times. Could you all believe that?
I had it 11. 11 times.
See, you can believe it. So I remember telling people about that before. They're like, "You lying?" I'm like, "No, I'm dead serious." They thought I was just some type of pony or something like that, some Hoover brother. But no, it was true. I had it spell on me 7 times, but it was so cool because one of my memories is that Microsoft actually sent somebody out to my home when I was younger at the time, and he put a disc in there to speed up the 360 that they replaced and to test it. I got stress tested, and
wow.
I got like $200 for 2 visits. He came twice, gave me $100 check each time, and
wow,
and recorded me like on a video talk and discussion. It was very interesting. So it's a bad situation, but also a fun memory because I did get paid for it. So I'll take that. Essentially, I got my 360 for free. Plus, I got peripherals and games and all that from them. That's why I've always loved Microsoft's customer service because I always got stuff for it. Like, oh, hey, this happened. Here's a controller. Oh, this happened. Here's a game. Oh, here this happened. Here's this. So no issues with me for that. One of the biggest things you mentioned already with the summer of arcade, but we also had just in general Xbox Live Arcade. That's to me started the whole trend of indies in general being on consoles the way they are, right? You mentioned, like, for instance, we had stuff like Castle Crashers, we had Braid, we had Limbo. You know what I mean? You mentioned a few others. What was that one you
Dust
mentioned?
was one of my favorite, an Elysian Tale. That was made by one dude, by the way. One person made that.
Yeah, you mentioned another one too with the kid. I can't remember.
Zombies by Tequila Works. That was oh my god, I can't remember the name now. I was looking at the list. Bloody hell.
I'm drawing a blank on the one you mentioned. I got it. I still haven't beat it to this day, but
I got every achievement in that game. It was a zombie Metroidvania. Oh, was it Shadow Complex?
no. Oh, Bastion.
Bastion is that's a phenomenal game.
Bastion.
Phenomenal game.
Yeah. Although now that you mentioned Shadow of the Complex or whatever it was, Shadow Complex.
Yeah.
I haven't beat that either. Actually, I got to go back and finish that.
Unbelievable game. What a shame we never got a sequel for that. Like honestly, it's just a travesty of justice.
It was a really good game, and I love Metroidvania, so I got to get back to that and finish that sometime soon. One of my biggest and one of the things that me and my family still go back to, because I bought another 360 maybe about 2 months back, because the one I had, it was very old, and it's the one I had from way back, and it just doesn't function the way I needed it to. The disc tray wasn't working, et cetera, et cetera. So I bought a newer model version, and me and my family will play like Rock Band and stuff like that every now and then. So that's one of the things I still have fun memories of in the 360 era, was just the Rock Band series. Guitar Hero too, but more Rock Band than anything, because Rock Band was the first to kind of introduce all the other instruments and stuff, the drum set and everything. And man, we have so much like saved memories on that game. Like my cousin, may she rest in peace, her characters are still in that game. When we load that up, we see that. And it's just something that,
wow, brother, that's emotional shit right there.
Absolutely. And it chokes me up every time, I got to tell you, but it's just something I'll never forget, and it's something we will always go back to. Halo 3, my favorite Halo in the entire series.
Yep.
We had Halo 3, and what a magnificent game that still is to this day. And Halo 3 brought about so much like epicosity, if you will, to it. I mean, from just, I guess, forge mode to custom maps to changing kind of the landscape of online first person shooters, and continuing that, I suppose, from what we had with part 2. Part 2, I would guess, would be the kind of the first revolution, but 3 to me kind of cemented it, and that's when we started seeing spin-off first person shooters kind of step into the picture to try to get a piece of that pie, which eventually led to the Call of Duty's taking over dominance and such. But achievements, I'm an achievement thought. Another thing introduced in the 360 era was achievements. Major fan of them still. It is the reason why I've had such a tough transition to say I'll just go and play PC is because of achievements, believe it or not.
Achievements, yep.
I love the ecosystem of Xbox in general, but it is tough for me to be like, I don't need those achievements. I do. It's like, it's an addiction. I got to be honest. I know you mentioned it a minute ago with Rand, and shout out to my Chicago brother. And I don't know if I want to play Pony Master 3000 to try to catch up and earn some quick achievement points, but I might have to do it. But yeah, man, it's tough. It is tough to let that go because of I just love achievements, and I hope they continue to evolve them. It's been a while. Believe it or not, Geometry Wars. You all remember Geometry Wars?
I play it once a year. Phenomenal game.
Geometry Wars, twin stick shooter, classic in the sense of like one of those, I guess, I don't want to say Galaga, but it pulls you back to that thought, right? Just the way it's simple and it's colorful and it's engaging. And then to me, it's kind of like, outside of it being a twin stick shooter instead of an auto player type game, it's kind of like that game. What's the name of that game, Boom? Well, the Vampire
Vampire Survivors.
Vampire Survivors, minus the fact that you actually have to, shoot and aim your sticks to shoot. But Vampire Survivors is much the same, where you have to move around and such until you get really ridiculous, at least, and you just sit there. But it kind of puts me in mind of that a little bit. So Geometry Wars, me and the family actually used to compete in that, actually, to see who got the highest score or whatever. And that was really fun. So those types of things just keep playing in my mind. There's so many others too. I know Jamie mentioned Mass Effect and the Mass Effect trilogy. Part 1 essentially started obviously on the Xbox 360. And I still to this day feel salty that Microsoft did not buy BioWare back then.
Yeah.
Tell me about
kept it. That. Yeah, I kept that to the platform and kept that as an exclusive. I think I feel like I'm glad still that they did what they had to do, but I feel like it kind of fell to the wayside after 3, obviously. So maybe they can rebound. But yeah, those are the memories I think of. I'll throw one more in there that we kind of take for granted now because we have streaming and everything. Netflix. Netflix was first introduced, if I'm not mistaken, on Xbox.
Yes.
So that's another major one. It's a fun memory, and people started playing and doing. And you know what? I'll throw one more in there, and I'm sure many in the chat can probably hold to this one. 1 versus 100.
Ah, dude, I knew that's where you were going. What a triumph of multiplayer, right? Like you could win real world prizes there. Unbelievable.
Yeah, classic, man. Classic. Yeah. Loved it. And who would have thought? Who would have thought that'd be something where everybody was like, let's go play 1 versus 100.
Yeah.
But I love
very chill
stuff.
game.
Yeah, very chill. Yeah. I mean, I'm a competitive type anyway when it comes to those types of things, when it comes to brain games, I suppose, and thinking and challenges like that. So that instantly drew me in for something like that. So those are my fun memories of the Xbox 360. There's so many more that I could probably go to, but I'll stick to that.